on Russell Wilson, like I had this injury in my right index finger.
Oh, really?
I don't know. Yeah. And look, the reality is, I don't know the extent
When
of
did
all
you
it
when
is. I
did
know
you
they said
suffer the injury?
in 2008, as Monday Night Football versus the Bills, I ended up hitting off Marcus Stroud's helmet.
Oh, wow.
Immediately knew something was wrong, but I just thought I jammed it. Never had really done anything like that before. It was so cold, I couldn't really feel my hand anyway, but it was really, really swollen, both my index finger and my middle finger. So we ended up finishing the game. I kind of played through it. And the next, Monday, Tuesday, they tried to drill through the nail because my nail was all bloody and all that. And it
Oh,
wasn't releasing any of the pressure. So I practiced Wednesday and like I just cannot move my finger at all. And then finally we go to get x-rays. They're like, oh yeah, you had fractured a bone and ripped off some tendons. Like you're gonna need surgery. I was like, let's just try to like tape it up and I'll try to play with it. Couldn't really throw the football effectively, especially, if you can't spin it, which this is, their right index finger is the last thing to come off your finger.
your
You
number
got problems.
your numbers the following week against Houston are not ideal. Eight.
No. And that's the thing is like the problem is when I'd go to throw, like you had no pop or power off this. So there'd be times when I could like use my middle finger to kind of push and then so I could like carry over a defender. But I remember they brought a blitz zone. It was a field fire zone from my left. And I had a skinny post in behind. When I planted and went to throw, the ball like literally just like almost like it was dropping out of my hand. Like as I went to push, there's just nothing on it. And it just ended up being short. And I think the zone drop defender ended up picking it off. I was like, dude. And so we ended up talking on the sideline, I think at halftime. I was like, I can't, like, you either need to figure out a way of taping it up to help, or I don't know what to do. I just need to get surgery, get pins put in. So that was that. And it took me 6 weeks because once they put the pins in, you can't play with them. The pins are in there, they're set in your finger, and you can see my finger is still kind of crooked.
Oh, man.
But you have to set them in 2 ways to let it heal. And you put it in your hand's in a cast. So you're not going to be able to play with it if you want that area to heal. There's some, online or social media doctors who are like, oh yeah, he'll put a pin in and play. It's like, no, dude, that's not how it works.
Right.
You're a doctor. So it'll be like, I would be shocked if they take the pin out within 4 weeks. That's like a really accelerated healing process and time. And it probably will take you another at least a week or two to be able to get that like mobility and function back in your digit, which again, people are gonna be like, oh, it's just your finger. Dude, it's the last thing that touches the football. I can't tell you how important like that, feeling and everything else. I mean, for me, like I still don't have feeling on the ends of my finger. And it's like that, it changed when I came back to throw. I was like, it doesn't feel the same. But that's what you deal with when you have injuries, we have to get surgery.
Yeah. And I mean, like the way that Russell throws the ball too, you can see the spin. When he throws his best aspect of his game is the deep ball, and he throws it in a way that the spin it goes up and then it takes another little spin. Like it's not because he's just winding up his arm and bombing ball. Like when you throw a football, you rotate it with you're using your fingers.
The last two things that touch the ball: your index finger, your middle finger. And so if there's anything wrong with either, it's going to impact your spin rate. It's going to impact your power and everything else off your hand. And so to adjust that or adapt to that, it takes time. And that's what's going to be interesting to see how fast he's able to come back and then what he looks like when he comes back. Because like I said, to the end of this day, to this day, I still have no feeling in the tip or edge of my finger. And it was always the weirdest thing for me throwing afterwards because it was like, it just didn't feel the same like rolling off my finger as it did before.
That's crazy. And you hadn't played because you didn't play your rookie season. And then
right. So that was my second start. I started on Thursday Night Football, played well, started Monday Night Football, played okay, hurt it like in the first quarter. And then, that next third game, just try to tape it up and play with it. I mean, you should have seen, I remember Rob Jasinski, I received that Wednesday after practice, like, looks at me and goes, so what the hell's wrong with you? And I was like, I mean, you should have seen some of the balls just look like ducks. It looked like a helicopter. And I was like, dude, I'm sorry. I was like, I can't really feel my index finger, my middle finger. I'm doing the best I can dealing with them. I got to figure this out. And that was when they're just like, yeah, let's go get you some x-rays.
I'm now trying to find a picture of you. I'm trying to use Google again to find more pictures of you and your busted finger, but nothing pops up. Boo.
Well, we didn't make a big deal about it. Like, it's not like we stopped the game. I literally remember it was so cold in Buffalo. I went over, sat on the heated bench, and I kept putting my fingers. They have these like little slots you can kind of put your hand in just to try to warm it up because it was so stiff and it was like not really moving much. And I was like, all right, we're just have to kind of deal through this the rest of the game. But like I said, I didn't know. I thought it was just like you stove your finger in basketball when you like kind of jam it, but that
I,
wasn't the case.